everyone, it's Kathy Homeyer with Nourishing Your Multidimensional Body. I'm at for this broadcast, first time on a new time slot on Monday afternoon. Usually I'm on Sunday, or Monday night actually, usually on Sunday afternoon, so I hope you find us all here. Akashic Academy has just launched a brand new, awesome idea that we have our live shows, but also replays, so that you can find the shows, more shows even more often, and catch the replays. So this is after a year. This is about a year that I've been on the show. So kind of wanted a new time for myself as well. So yeah, Pamela, you get to be my first one on a new time slot. This is Pamela Schneider. Hey, Pamela.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, this is fun. I've never met Pamela before, and I saw, hey, Paul, hey, Cindy, see some folks finding us. I think I saw your post on Nick's, some group, and I thought, oh, isn't that cool? Happy anniversary, Kathy, thank you. I had 3 kids, I gave birth to 3 kids. And my mom, I was like, okay, what do I do? And I was in my mid-30s, and I've never really babysat. I never really knew people that were pregnant that much. And I said to myself, oh my gosh, what do I do? And I looked at my mother, and she's like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, thanks, Mom. I love you too. And she ended up taking care of my kids when they were little, so it wasn't quite like that. So the only thing I could refer to was books. You know, what to eat when you're expecting. Those were the big ones then. I don't know if they're still out now, and what to do while you're expecting and all that. That's the only info I had, except for doctors that said, take these vitamins. And I remember a doctor, because I don't want to forget to say this. My doctor said when the kids were born one by one, I have 3, he goes, feed them anything you want. It doesn't really matter. Basically, he was saying it doesn't matter the quality. Just feed the kids. It doesn't matter what you feed them. And I remember him saying that, and I'm thinking at the time, I was a little bit into nutrition still then and food, and going, what do you mean that doesn't matter? And I just went totally off the top of my head, gave birth without drugs, didn't even know I could have them. But I probably wouldn't have done them anyway. But, plopped this baby in my arm when I went, oh, hello, what do I do now? So the preparation was just through work, through books, and going, okay, I got this, and here I go. So I was so glad to see your attention to conscious pregnancy and conscious postpartum. So yeah, Pamela, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in this, and we'll go through what you offer.
Awesome. Yeah, it's definitely not something that I thought I would be doing when I started my path wanting to help people heal from illnesses, because I had migraines and some other illnesses going on. And I actually was similar to that doctor. I originally didn't know that food could heal anything. It wasn't until I had tried pretty much every medication that there was, and given up hope. And then I was at my grandmother's funeral, and I met a woman who had been a doctor in Europe. And she said, she was Polish, and she said she worked at a hospital with no machines, no medicine, food. We heal people with food. And I was like, oh, really? Like, that's really? And so I started reading about it, and changed my diet, and within 2-3 months, my migraines were gone. So I knew that I was onto something, and I knew that more people needed to know this, because I had felt like when all the Western medicine type stuff didn't work, I had felt like I was broken and something was wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I ended up going to the Institute for Integrative Nutrition and was trained. Oh, hey, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
I was trained in nutritional healing and coaching, and it was amazing. But I only got so far with, I also had some fibromyalgia type stuff going on. So I felt really drawn to energy work, and Reiki kept coming back into my life. So I things for me. So I trained in Reiki. I'm a Reiki master now. And then I continued on. I'm just fascinated with different energies. Now I work with crystalline energies and goddess ascension energies, and they really are just so amazing for shifting things for people. And so now I'm taking everything that I've learned and using it to help moms, because my own experience recently, I gave birth to my son Oliver in the end of September.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I had this amazing pregnancy and this amazing birth that was, a lot of people would say, easier than most. But I didn't really know, kind of like you, like what I was going to do once I had the baby. So I ended up feeling super overwhelmed and alone, and I realized that moms needed more support. And through that all, I tried to do everything myself and ended up with a breast abscess infection from breastfeeding. And as I was going through that, this sort of just birthed itself, came out of me. So I started using these sessions that I do with moms who are suffering from postpartum depression or just feeling like really disconnected after giving birth. Mm-hmm. And the results that I was having were amazing. These moms who are who love to paint, and they hadn't picked up a paintbrush in like nine months or almost a year since they had became pregnant. And I saw 1,000 paintings in my head. Now they're painting and they're selling their paintings, and things like that. Just like amazing things coming up with it. So I said, well, how else can I use this to help moms? Because really what I've learned through all of my preparation for birth spiritually is that our children, we attract a certain type of soul based on our energy. And our children are imprinted with our energy in the womb. So if you are stressed out and you're whatever you're going through, it's going to imprint on your child. And the same thing happens when you're giving birth. Whatever the energy field is during birth, if you're really scared or someone in the room is really scared, you can imprint your child with that fear. So I felt like it's my mission to make the world a better place by helping bring in these babies to parents who are in a really good place energetically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, super important. When I was an occupational therapist down in Washington, D.C., and I had the chance when I first got hired by a rehab agency. We went around PTs, OT, and speech. We traveled around to different areas. And I got to be in on creating an exercise program. The PT and I did it together. We created an exercise program for moms and new babies. So that was really fun. We did that for a little while. So, yeah. So, so what kind of assistance do people come to you, find you when they're, well, probably both, but when they're pregnant, after they've had a baby, and what kind of questions do they ask? Are they ready for this, or are they curious or just wanting some kind of support?
A little bit of both. A lot of the people that I attract are people who are looking for more of that spiritual experience when they're trying to conceive. So they want to conceive naturally. They're feeling maybe a little bit blocked by some of their own worries or their own fears around being a parent or like past traumas, or they're wanting that like spiritual experience. They're wanting to go into parenthood right from the beginning, knowing that they are being the best person that they can be. So that like releasing anything that's like, because we can carry forward our family traumas. We can carry forward any like trauma that we've been through. It can carry forward into our children. So
I have, like I said, I have 3 kids, 19, 22, and 24. And I didn't start getting into energetics until they were probably into their teens, and then trying, clearing things and doing different things, because you can still do that as a mom, right? You
Oh
can
yeah.
still do that, and people say different ages, but you can still do that as a mom. And realize that, oh my gosh, if I would have had, such a difference it would make to have assistance early on, or even would have known about that.
Yeah.
Energetically, not even and I work in energetics, but not, this part isn't really in my vocabulary, probably because my kids are older now and I'm not at that age. But when I visit somebody in the hospital, or even today, I was in a store and saw little baby clothes, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how important to work with kids early and look at the energetics of that. And I can't imagine they wouldn't grow up so much more balanced or understanding themselves
Yes.
a little bit better.
Yeah, because these souls are coming to us, and they're these beautiful, pure souls that are coming here to live out what they came here to do. And if we can just sort of like get out of the way, like just provide that container, that safe space for them to be themselves without like, one time I said dumping all of our crap on them, as a very blunt way to say it, but without like carrying forward some of the things that we've gone through, then that gives them a better chance to just live this amazing life that they've come here to live. So
I'm trying to introduce my older kids now to all this, and they kind of roll their eyes and deal with me and are okay, but little by little they're better with it. Or if they have an issue, last resort, they'll come to me and say, hey mom, can you help, or can you do some of your stuff that you do? But in particular, knowing their kind of soul as a parent, maybe not even them, but knowing kind of their soul stories or their energy early on, you can help guide them in a path much better than, say, that I've been able to do with not knowing. Now I know stuff that I go, oh, if I had known that 10 years ago, would have known. In my heart, I kind of knew it anyway to direct them that way, but they didn't get over that kind of the hump themselves. So I'm like, okay, one like knew where she was going. She was gone. She was soul out of the gate, man, and she just ran. And the others are, it's interesting because you see the souls, like one, I said, oh, he's an old soul. I remember somebody telling me that before I got into anything. And one going, oh, he's really new on the planet and doesn't understand why this stuff is going on. And then we have these new kids coming in with all these talents and crazy stuff. So yeah, I totally support what you're doing with moms and babies. So really timely and needed. Not that it always hasn't been, but kind of going back to that. I study traditional foods, and the one thing that there was, the Weston Price, he did a study on traditional foods and what really kept people healthy. And he found 11 common denominators that keep people healthy all throughout the world. In the 40s, he lived with different indigenous populations and found 11 common denominators on how they prepared their food. And the 11th one, 11th or 12th, was that they provided all what they called the sacred foods to the parents-to-be, the men and the women who were either newly married or were planning to have children. And they actually spaced their children too, so that the mom could get healthier again to carry another child. And I always thought that should have been number one, because we do it with vitamins. And, like I said, I went to the doctor and had, all these, have like the tests, right? You have to have all the tests, and whether you need it or not. And I just thought that should be number one, providing the best nutrition possible for your generation to have a healthier generation early on. And we, kind of went backwards and forwards with learning about nutrition. Hopefully you're back on track a little bit in a lot of reasons, but
it's so important.
Yeah,
it really is. And a lot of doctors are not trained in nutrition. They don't take Care Bear Share, Paul said. They don't take a lot of courses in nutrition. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised that you heard that in pregnancy experience
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah. Yeah. It was like,
to
I
the
feed
way
them
that I
anything,
ate.
doesn't matter. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, just give them pills, give them a vitamin, they're fine.
Yeah, no.
But yeah.
And then, yeah, that was one thing that was kind of shocking to me was how much they want you to rely on vitamins when you're pregnant. And if you're really,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you are pregnant and you're really like adamant about eating unhealthy, then yeah, like thank God you're taking your vitamins.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much you can do with your diet, and it really, I mean, the food you eat imprints your cells with information. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it tells it
Exactly. Yeah.
which ways your genes are going to express. So
Mm-hmm. So tell me what a kind of not. I mean, I know there's never a typical session, but if somebody
yeah.
came to you, would you, how would you kind of approach somebody who was either asking for your help, or if there's somebody on that listens to this and say, hey, if this resonates with you at all, or if you're looking for some support, I just put your website up so people could contact you. But how would you kind of explain to somebody, a new mom or somebody kind of like me when I was that way, not knowing what I was doing, that the support that you could provide? Or I'll let you put it in your own words.
Oh, thanks. So ideally what I love to do is it's a 6-month program, and I would like to say thank you for thank you. It's a 6-month program, and we meet every other week. And really, what we do is we go through. I have a whole system that we go through where we heal past traumas. We look at what's coming up for you around being a parent, and we get you to a comfortable place with that and release whatever blocks you have going on. The nutrition's a part of it, lifestyle, sleep, things like that. I also do a womb healing session so that everything is working well in there, and
Mm-hmm.
so we can pick up trauma in there as well. And it really just, all of it together, it's a bunch of deep healing, a bunch of clearing, a bunch of energy shifting. So try to think what else is in there. There's so much.
Oh no, I think that's awesome. Like I said, it's not, even I see, people do sessions and people contact you and stuff, and I have had a few people who were concerned about conceiving and that sort of thing. So, but just a few, but the whole concept of going through this like this, people used to do this. You used to support somebody going through pregnancy and healing. And I did go to a, blanking on it, not a doctor, but not a doctor. If you're not going specifically to a doctor for your pregnancy, it's what's the
Midwife?
name for her? Midwife. Yes, I did. Well, yeah, I guess midwife. She worked with a doctor, but I went to her, and I was like close to C-sections for all my kids. They were all late. All threatened to be C-section, but thank goodness thank goodness to my midwife, she literally got them through, and got through it. Well, all three, and healthy, no drugs, no nothing. I think the first one I went through, and like you forget about the pain. The second one you go, oh yeah, that really hurt. The third one you remember the pain, and it was like, no, if I ever had another one, I would definitely do the drugs. But no, I'm happy that I did. They were so conscious and so alert, and just amazing. So yeah, I definitely would have been, if I would have known anything about this, I definitely would have been one of your clients, and totally going to tell people about you, because it is just that it's an awesome service to be able to provide the family and future families, without all of us kind of my age going through, okay, gotta clear this, and it seems kind of endless. So
yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I love to carry people through, not just through only the conception. I can help you plan an empowered birth experience. So you can't really determine exactly, how that's going to go, but you can approach it with a really amazing mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do this when you do this releasing of all your past traumas and womb healing and all that stuff, you let go of your own fears, and you can come to that place of giving birth where you're feeling empowered already, and you're not afraid of the process, and you can just have such a better outcome. Even if it doesn't go the way that you want, you can still have an empowered experience with it, where you are comfortable with whatever happened. It doesn't have to be a traumatic experience if it doesn't go the way.
Yeah. Because I mean, it kind of is. I went through the whole, birthing training process and all that thing, but I haven't, I was kind of on, my husband was there, so I wasn't on my own in that way. But in terms of being a mother, being, how you used to be within your community, and you would be with your sister, your, other friends, you would support each other in that direction. I think that's kind of lost in this, right? In this kind of, we have communities, but not like we used to. So all that support, they're like, oh yeah, they are after the birth. And plus, usually, I think like I said, I had kids starting in my mid 30s. So I had my third child when I was 40. So pretty kind of late. But, it used to be they didn't allow anybody in with, during the birth, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
I've heard some stories, like my boyfriend's a little older. His mother was unconscious for all 5 of her children during the birth.
I think they did that to my mom too. She goes, no, I just wanted to, I'm like, seriously?
And now that I know what I know, like spiritually and energetically about giving birth, it's like, wow, I can't imagine, like, yes, it can be painful, but it's also a chance to like rebirth yourself, and it puts you in such deep touch with your intuition.
Yeah.
And I just am so glad that I was able to experience it, not, consciously.
I wasn't sure I put Diane is high there, so I want to do that again.
Hi, Diana.
Yeah. Put that high up.
I was really blessed. I had an amazing midwife. She would meet with me. We would have like 2-hour sessions.
Oh, wow.
Time to plan for my birth. And then I had a really wonderful doula as well. And if it wasn't for those 2 ladies, I think I would have gone into it in a completely different mindset than I was in. And I really was able, with all of their support, to feel really comfortable about whatever happened. And it was amazing.
I always thought when I was older and retired, whenever that's going to be, I don't know. But a situation with myself that I kind of always joke about it, but I think it's probably deeper in there than I think, that I was a preemie. And like I said, my mother, not necessarily having a ton of motherly instincts for whatever reason, that she, you couldn't get out of the hospital until you were 5 pounds or 6 pounds or something. So I was in the hospital, I don't know how many, a couple of weeks. I mean, I really don't know how long it was. And I was like, Mom, you left me there? Because, I mean, I would have, if that was one of my kids, I would not leave. I would be there. She goes, yeah, well, I visited you every day. And it was like, are you kidding me? So I think that's probably something deeper in myself that I really realized. But I see the babies in the, you could see through the glass in hospitals and stuff. And I thought, oh my gosh, they're in these plastic, and now they bring them into the moms more.
Yes.
But I thought, wow, for somebody like my mother, who didn't realize she probably should have been there more, but I'm still okay. I'm thinking I would really like to, when I have time that I don't have to be here working. I don't know if they like have volunteers for people to hold babies who don't have contact, maybe, or I always thought about that they, just sitting there in their little plastic little thing in the warmth, all swaddled up, but not with moms. That it'd be really important to have the contact if they weren't able to have it, from a mom, or if there was another reason. But I always thought about that too, because like I said, I think of my own situation, that I was like, oh well, yeah, I made it through.
Well, that's another thing that I in one of the sessions I do in my program, is we go through your story from when you were born and bring healing to that, because that can really, it can create how you interact in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And like for me, sort of similar to you, but I wasn't a preemie. My mom just was young and she wasn't really of having a baby. So I was born and the nurses took me away, and she was in the hospital for like 2 or 3 days or whatever it was back then. And she didn't really see me until it was time to go home. And now I have this idea of like, I can just like do everything myself. I don't need anyone.
Is that where I get that? I don't need that. I can do that myself.
Yeah. So you can bring some healing to that too. And that can also help.
Well, that's awesome. I'm going to put up your website again here if I can find it. So why don't you tell everybody how to contact you, Pamela?
Yeah, so I'm actually doing some free lifestyle, nutrition, and energy assessments for anyone who's feeling like they want to conceive and maybe you're feeling a little blocked and you don't know why. So if you are interested in that, you can just message me on Facebook. And also check out my website, theenergydoula.com. Lots of good information on there about what I do. And I have a group called Harmonious Motherhood. It's just a great place for moms to connect. And I share a lot of my mom tips there, conception tips, pregnancy, birth, breastfeeding, all of it. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, this kind of literally touched, pun intended, touched a chord with me. That I just didn't think of that in because now that I am older, I'm not in touch with a whole lot of moms with little kids and stuff. But we offer at our lodge. I'll just put my website up there, where we own a few years ago when I was a occupational therapist trying to talk and type at the same time. I was an occupational therapist in like I said, in Washington, D.C., and I thought, oh, people are going to need a place to rejuvenate. So I own the Lake Clear Lodge. This is lodgeonlakeclear.com with my husband and family, and we offer a conscious place to come and stay, to reconnect with family. All these families now that with the advent, the internet and phones and all that sort of thing, we don't have internet in our lodges. Trying to reconnect families, even inadvertently. I had a guy come, and he was coming with his 3 kids, just a dad and his 3 kids. And then he called like the day before. I said, "Oh, I just have 2 of my kids with me." His one child had an anxiety attack, which a guest just a few days earlier brought her daughter to see a college. She had an anxiety attack and had to go home. And the other 2 kids that the gentleman came with, he came to work, so he was a little upset that he didn't have internet in the chalet, but we have it in our main lodge, but not in the private cabin. He was a little bit upset, but then he realized he could kind of work in the lodge. And the kids were there. He goes, at the end of the 4 days, and he was only here for 4 days, he said at the end, he goes, I have never seen my kids calmer. He said, at first I was a little upset because I knew I had to work, but he said, I'm bringing my family back here. I'm bringing the whole family back here, so that so work like yours is so needed because of the world that we're going into and have to recreate bonding again, I think, and because of different situations. So yeah, that's very awesome. Yep.
It sounds amazing there. I can't wait to come visit.
So yeah, we're trying to do more programs and do more towards family as well as couples, but we were out in nature where I'm lucky enough to have come back and recreated this awesome place on 25 acres. We have a beautiful lakefront. I do nourishing food, the absolute best I can, have a lot of local providers and offer that. So it's, this is my mission that I'm still here doing, and it's seasonal. So I get to do things like this on the other side and connect with people like yourselves doing really cool work. All the folks at the Akashic Academy who have their shows all week long. And so I'll put up your website again, theenergydoula.com. And I have been talking with Pamela Schneider. Show your name again. And I am Kathy Homemeyer. So anything else you'd like to add, Pamela?
That's a good question.
All good. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, yeah, I know that's always the on-spot question at the end of the one, right? But I just don't want to, cut it off. We'll, yeah. So if anybody's interested in Pamela's work, obviously, and if you, know anyone who's, ready to conceive, like I said, have you heard about the Weston Price Foundation or their nutritional stuff? Yeah.
Yeah. I actually came across them when I had to stop breastfeeding and shift to something else. So they have some really amazing formula recipes that are not a formula.
Yeah. And like I said, I love their 11th, 12th denominator that says you really prepare the young couple. The sacred foods go to the young couple to prepare the next generation to be healthy for the next generation. And while I think we kind of think that on our mind in the backside, it's really up to that young couple to figure it out, rather than the elders helping them. If they're lucky to have a really close-knit family or support, then that's there. But yeah, thank you for coming into the work that you're doing. I think that's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, everybody, thanks for chiming on. More shows with the Akashic Academy. The schedules have changed a little bit, so I hope you're finding everybody with the lives and the replays. I only know for sure that Christy, you're on at 12 o'clock tomorrow, and I think there's some before that, and maybe one after me. I can't remember the schedule, but thanks for coming on to the Akashic Academy. Thank you, Pamela, for coming on. I enjoyed talking with you and what you do, and I'm going to be in touch with you, actually. Okay. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.